Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. So today, as you can tell by the title, I'm going to be talking about Rush, and I'm going to be answering some questions that people have and also kind of just going over preparation and things that you probably should know. If you don't know, I go to the University of Alabama and I am a Zeta to Alpha, but this video doesn't just talk about Zeta. I'm going to be talking about Rush in general. As far as just the University of Alabama, I have only experienced Rush there, so I'm not sure about any other schools. I know some schools in the South are similar, and it's kind of different up north, which is where I'm from. So I really only have experience at Alabama, so I'm only really going to be talking about that today. So I have my computer right here, so if you ever see me looking down while I'm talking, that's what I'm doing. I just have some points that I want to make sure that I don't forget. So the first thing I'm going to be talking about is kind of just preparing for Rush and my favorite part, which was shopping for it. So you'll need 2 dresses for ice water tees. You'll need either 2 pairs of shorts or 2 skirts or whatever. Just there's 2 days of Philanthropy round and they give you a t-shirt to wear. So you'll need just to bring your own shorts for that. And then you'll need 2 dresses for Sisterhood, 1 dress for Preference, and then your outfit for bid day. So I'm going to start with ice water tees since that's the first day. I also, if you guys want to see exactly what I wore, you can check out my other video that I filmed during Rush Week. It's on my channel. I think it's called like Recruitment at Alabama. I don't even know what it's called, but it's obvious you'll be able to find it. And I just show you guys like everything I'm wearing. But I don't talk exclusively about what you should wear in that video, so I think I'm going to do that right now. Ice water tees is going to be your least fancy dress. It's going to be your kind of most casual, kind of like a sundress. And this day you can wear like sandals, or you can wear wedges if you want. Most girls just kind of wear flat sandals because it's like the first day and it's like the least casual day. I wore Jack Rogers sandals because they're really dressy and cute, but they're also flat. And then I think I also had Jack Rogers wedges that they weren't like a huge heel, but they were like a little bit nicer than a flat sandal, so I wore those also. You really just want to wear what makes you feel comfortable for jewelry. There's never like any rules or anything against it. So for this day, you want to make sure that you're not wearing like a romper or anything low cut or anything too short. And you also want to make sure that you're really comfortable because this is the day you're going to be doing the most walking. You're going to visit all the sororities in the first 2 days, so you're going to be walking a lot, and so you want to make sure you're really comfortable, not getting too hot, wearing a dress that you can obviously like move in and stuff like that. Also, I don't know if anyone was planning on this, but definitely don't wear like a really long, like a maxi dress, because it is like extremely hot in Alabama. I was not used to that, and so even in my like short dresses, it was really hot, and sometimes it was like too hot. So definitely don't wear anything long or like thick or heavy because you will sweat because it's really warm and you're doing a lot of walking. I had my hair up in like a half up little pony, and that was so nice and convenient because as you can tell, I touch my hair all the time, so the fact that it was like out of my face, I really was just ignoring it and not touching it, and it also made it a little bit cooler because it was so hot, and it kept my hair from getting really frizzy because I'm not used to the humidity in Alabama, and it's insane. It's nothing like you've ever experienced if you're from out of town. So the fact that it was like out of my face enough was super nice. For the next 2 rounds, you're going to be Philanthropy rounds, and Pan Hellenic will provide you with 2 t-shirts. They give them to you at Convocation, which is like the first day of Rush, like the day before everything starts. But I think they release the colors of the shirts sometime in like May or June, I'm not sure. So they will tell you what color the shirts are before Rush starts, just so you can plan ahead and find like a pair of shorts or a skirt or something that matches. We had 1 light blue and 1 white t-shirt. I wore this pair of shorts that was like kind of light pink for one of the days, and then what else? I can't even remember what the other shorts I wore. I'll have to go back and look at the video. They were both, one of them was from I think Lily Pulitzer, and then one of them I think was from like H&M or something like that. So that day is like pretty chill, and you can wear like your cute little sneakers, or you can wear sandals. I think I wore my Jack Rogers for this day. I know some girls were wearing like golden gooses, stuff like that. So just like cute dressy sneakers. One thing I would say is try to avoid like a denim skirt or denim shorts, like jean shorts, because it can come off as like a little bit too casual, and even though this is like early Rush and so you are a little bit more casual, you don't want to come off as like you don't care. So definitely try and stay away from wearing denim. So for the next 2 days you have Sisterhood, and this is where you get to wear like your little bit of a nicer dress. It's not your nicest, but it's definitely nicer than your first two dresses were for ice water tees. So for these two, I got my dresses, I think they were both from Lily Pulitzer, and they were really cute, really comfy. And so for Sisterhood, you're not visiting as many houses, so they can be like a little bit of a thicker dress. Mine was kind of thicker. It would have been harder to wear them during the ice water tee rounds just because they were a little bit like, I don't know, heavier. I don't know, the material was just different. This day girls wear like wedges, and I think I wore my Jack Rogers wedges, and then I wore just like another pair of wedges. I think they were espadrilles or whatever. I don't know if I said that right, but like you guys know what I'm talking about. I'll put a picture. I wore those. They were from, I think I got them at Altered State. I can't really remember. They were like really old. Like I didn't buy new ones or anything. And my pref's dress, it has to be like your fanciest dress should be your pref's dress. And I got mine at a boutique that I got here in my hometown. And so this dress wasn't really, I don't know. This dress, it's like hard to explain what it looked like. It was navy, and it was like covered in lace, and the shoulders were kind of like up a little bit. So if I had my hair down, it would have like kind of sat up weird. So I actually got my hair done, and they put it in like a little ponytail, and it was super cute. And it actually was nice because it was really, really hot, and like having my hair up out of the way was so convenient. And so yeah, my pref dress, I wore that with, I think they were some like chunky heels. They were just nude. They really hurt my feet, but I only had to go to 2 houses. I think I took them off walking in between houses because they were like extremely painful on my feet, and I already had blisters on my feet from like the whole rest of the week. And so for my favorite day, for bid day, your outfit for this should be just like running shorts or a tank top. You can wear a t-shirt, but you're going to be putting your bid day jersey on over it, and it's really, really warm. So I would recommend just wearing a tank top if you have one, but a t-shirt is fine. And then you should probably wear sneakers or like really comfy shoes because you're going to be running from the stadium to your house. And I know I'm in Zeta and my house is pretty close to the stadium, but somehow we went like this weird route like behind it, and it was really long, and we were running for a really long time, and I don't like to run. So I was struggling, and it was really hot, and some girls passed out. I know this happened like when they were running their house. And so that's pretty much all I have talking about clothes. So the next item of like preparing for Rush I'm going to talk about is letters of recommendation, because it's like a huge difference when you're not from the South and you're like, what the heck, how am I supposed to get these letters of recommendation? What even are they? What are they for? I'm going to tell you. So the sororities use these as kind of just like a little bit more of a getting to know you, and they do it they kind of get a judge of character, just like someone who was in their sorority, so they trust them, they have the same standards, like reviewing you. If you don't necessarily know people who were in the sorority, you can reach out to like a local alumni chapter. So I'm not really from Louisville, I'm from across the bridge from Southern Indiana, like 10 minutes away. But I looked up like Louisville alumni chapter, for example, if I needed it for Zeta, I'd be like Louisville alumni chapter, Zeta Tau Alpha. It will come up. I don't even know if there is one for Zeta. I kind of just made that up. But you will email them and be like, hi, I'm Sydney Palmer, and I'm rushing at the University of Alabama this fall. I'm so excited, and I really can't wait to see all these houses. But I really don't have a letter of recommendation for so-and-so sorority. And so I was wondering if you guys could help me out. I'd love to either meet up for lunch or take a phone call and just find out someone who would be able to write me a letter of recommendation. It doesn't actually have to be a person that knows you super well. A lot of the people who wrote mine were like my dad's work friends or both of my parents' friends from college or something like that. So they don't have to explicitly know you and like be your best friend or whatever. Another thing that's really helpful is you can post on your Facebook or post on your Instagram and be like, hi, I'm rushing. I was wondering if anyone knows someone in X sorority who could help me find a letter of recommendation, or ask like your teachers. If you have any siblings in college, you can ask them if they have any friends who could write you a collegiate letter of recommendation. Only some sororities do accept the collegiate letter, so you'll have to double check on the list that Panhellenic. I think Panhellenic will probably send it out. If not, I'm sure you can find it somewhere. Only some sororities do accept those, so you always want to make sure that you're sending it to the sororities who accept collegiate letters. So for these letters of recommendation, what I did is I got a sorority packet from Etsy, which it included you can get like different levels. Mine had my social resume, and then I think it had a template for like a cover letter and like paper that they could use to write the letter on if they wanted to. And I really liked it because it just made it easier, because I didn't really know what I was supposed to put in the letter, and the cover letter kind of already came with it, and you just filled out all of your information. The template was really cute, and I never could have created anything like that in like Word or something. I'll put a picture of it here because I'm really proud of it because it's so cute. Yes, so that was mine. And what I did is I would email the person who's writing my letter, and I would send them all my information. I included my social resume, the cover letter. I put my transcript in there just so that they could have all my information in case they wanted to use that in the letter. I also let them know if they were going to be emailing the letter of recommendation to the sorority or filling it out on the national website or mailing it in, because each sorority is different, and I think Pan-Hellenic will release where to send all of these letters. I think they're going to do it around May 1st because that's when you'll sign up for recruitment, and that's also when the no contact period starts. So I let the people who are writing my letters know where to send all the information. I had a Google Sheets that I had like the person's name and the sorority they were writing it for, like, and then the date I sent it to them, and then I put like have they replied, have they done it, have they submitted it, like whatever, and then I would check it off or like put X or no, because you want to keep really good track of these because it gets a little bit stressful being like, did they send it in, did they send it in? And if you have to have, you can have like up to 2 per sorority, so it's like 30 recommendation letters about like kind of somewhere around there, so it can get really stressful if you don't keep track of them. And speaking of that, do you have to have 2 letters of recommendation for every sorority? No. They are not required for any sorority, but it does help because the sororities want to get to know you more. If, let's say you have 1 for a sorority and you just can't find the other one, it's okay. You're not going to get dropped solely because of that. Some houses just use it to get to know people. Some people, usually if a house really likes you and they don't have a letter, you'll be okay. It's not the end of the world. I can definitely think of a couple houses that I couldn't find any letters of recommendation for, and I still got invited back to them. So it's just something that they use to get to know you a little bit better. And definitely don't freak out, but if you have the ability to find them and if you do know people, great. It's awesome and it could definitely help you. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to talk about in the preparation for rush category and the final thing is kind of your mental as you go into it, especially for people who are out of state and they really don't know what to expect and they're freaking out and they're super nervous because everyone who's from the South has been preparing for this since they were born, and they just are born to be in a sorority and and it gets really stressful. And I just wanted to say it's all going to be okay. It sounds really cheesy, but it actually is true. And your Rokai leader, if you don't know what that is, I'll talk about that later. Your Rokai leader will definitely tell you this, that everything happens for a reason, and you just have to believe it and relax and understand that everyone going into this is nervous. Even the sororities are nervous about the girls they're going to talk to. That's just how life is. People just get nervous, and it's all going to be okay because really rush is just a bunch of different conversations with college-age girls. You're on the same level as them. You're also a college student. They're not any better than you. They're not like intimidating you on purpose. They really just want to get to know you and be your friend, and they want you in their house. That's why they're talking to you, is because they want you there. Definitely, that's something that I wish I would have known, is just it's okay to be nervous, but try and calm yourself down as much as you can because it's really not a huge deal if you don't get the house you wanted or you don't get invited back to X house or whatever, because everything happens for a reason and you're going to find your house that you belong in. So now I'm going to talk a little bit more of the process of rush. So the first thing you'll do is you'll come to Alabama and you'll move in. I think there's like 3 days of move-in before rush starts. I can't really remember. I think I moved in the day before convocation, which is probably the last move-in day, just because I didn't want to be sitting in Alabama just freaking out about rush. Because I know myself and I know that I would do that. And convocation is the first day of rush. People don't really talk about it as much, so if you don't know what convocation is, don't worry. All the P&Ms gather and we all go to Coleman Coliseum, and you have some speakers, they talk to you, and then that's where you meet with your Rokai group. And your Rokai group, if you don't know what that is, that's just the group that you're going to be with for rush. It's usually alphabetical, so like the people who are around your last name, that's what group you're going to be in. And your Rokai is your leader. It's just like a Greek word or whatever, I don't know. I'm not Greek. And this person, like, don't be afraid of them. They're in a sorority, but they have disaffiliated, so you're not going to know what sorority they're in. If you ask them, they're not going to tell you until midday. You do get to find out, and it's really fun. Like, all their Instagram is disaffiliated. They're usually private, and they don't let you follow them until after rush. And it's kind of fun during the week to like try and guess what they are, but they usually won't tell you. So you'll meet them. You'll get your Greek chic, which is, if you don't know what that is the Pan-Hellenic's kind of like guidebook to basically to rush. It has kind of all the information I'm telling you, plus probably a little bit more. It has some information about like the GPAs and the dues and stuff like that. And then it has a place where you can write notes, and I loved using that because it had like a picture of the house and then like all their information and then like a huge space to write notes. And so after every house, I brought a pen and I would like write all my notes down like immediately after, because when you talk to like 20 million houses in a day, you're gonna look back and be like, what? Wait, which one was Zeta? I can't remember. They all run together. But then you can look back and be like, oh, I remember that girl. Like I talked to her about Purdue, Indiana, and like X and Y and Z, and then the conversations will start flooding back, and then it helps you later when you have to vote. You can be like, I remember I had an excellent conversation in that house. It was really, really good. So convocation, yeah, you have the speakers, they get your Rokai groups. That's also when they give you the t-shirts for Philanthropy round. And then after that, they let you go for the rest of the day. They tell you so what house you have to be at the next day. Each Rokai meets at a different house. I think I started out at 80 Pi. So they told us you need to be at 80 Pi at 8 a.m. I can't remember what time it was. It was just really too early. At 8 a.m. and then we're gonna do roll call, and then we're gonna all line up, and then you're gonna do the house, and it's awesome, and it's so much fun, and it's scary, but it's really, really fun. Your first house that you go into, you're just gonna be like, what? Like, what's happening? I don't know, because it's really nothing like you've ever experienced. You are pulled into this house and the girls are all talking to you and they're like, hi, oh my gosh, like da 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 da, and they're all so nice and so pretty, and it's a little bit intimidating, but as the day goes on you really just get used to it. And as the week goes on, you go to fewer parties, but they're called parties. You go to fewer parties, but they get longer. So they start out, I think ice water tea is 20 minutes, and that sounds like a long time, but it goes by like so quickly, because you're gonna be talking to multiple girls and it's gonna be loud, and they're gonna have a drink for you and they're just gonna talk and talk. You're just gonna talk the whole time, and then all of a sudden you're like outside and you're like, how did this happen? How did this party just go by so quickly? But each time they get longer. So I think it's like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and then I think prefs is an hour, or maybe it's 50 minutes. I can't remember. There was no point during rush where I was just sitting there like, oh, even in the house I didn't feel like I was gonna go. I was never like, I need to get out of this house, I'm here for too long. Like, don't worry about that. After your second ice water tea, you're gonna go and vote. I think you vote in Tutwiler. There were days where we voted in Tutwiler, and sometimes we voted like under Bryant-Denny Stadium or somewhere. It's all different like each of the days, and I think depending on your schedule too. So you vote for your top houses for that round, and then I think it's 12. I can't remember because I have a terrible memory, and it was just stressful for me because I always felt bad like cutting a house. So you start out, you go to every single house for ice water teas, and then for Philanthropy you go to up to 12 houses. It's usually, the Rokai will tell you that it's not normal to get like a full card back, so if you don't get like all 12 of the ones you wanted, like don't worry. And then you go to Philanthropy round, which is super fun, and they usually show their Philanthropy video to you, which like you learn a little bit about, like obviously you learn about their philanthropy and what they're about and all that stuff. And then after the 2 Philanthropy days, you're gonna vote down from 12 to 7. And you go to 7 houses for Sisterhood, like up to 7. You can do fewer than that. And then for Sisterhood, you learn about their sisterhood. That's why it's called that. They kind of just talk to you a little bit about what it's like to be in that sorority. And then you go from 7 to 2. And that's the hardest jump, I think. Because it's like, wow, this is getting real. These are the last 2 houses I'm gonna go to. And then for prep, you go to 2 houses for either 50 minutes or an hour. I can't really remember. Preps is not really like any of the other rounds. I don't know if every house does this, but both of the houses that I prepped, they were all wearing like long dresses. They had like kind of simple makeup, and it was a little bit more of a quiet round. Like it was more serious, and the girls in there, they really just wanted to talk to you about how you were feeling, and you could tell them honest, like you can be honest, you can say, I'm really not sure, I'm conflicted, like can I please talk to you? A lot of girls will actually want to talk to you and be like, hey, like I am happy for you if you go us or if you go to your other house, because we just really want you to find the place that you belong. So like if you want, we can talk about it, or you can tell me how you feel. I have some friends who when they were prepping a house, they knew that wasn't the house for them, and so they told the girls, they were like, hey, I'm so sorry, but this isn't my home and all of that. And the girls that they were talking to were like, that's fine, that's awesome, like what do you want to talk about, like what are you watching on Netflix? The girls aren't just trying to get as many girls in their home, like in their sorority, as they can. They just want everyone to go where they want to go. And then after preps, you're gonna go vote for your first house is the one you want, and then you're gonna rank your second house that you prep you're not gonna drop either of the houses. You're just gonna rank them 1 and 2. And so then on the next day, on bid day, everyone gets to the stadium and you're all waiting outside, and then you get let into the stadium and you go find your row chi group and you see all your girls who you've been with all week. And it's so scary because you're sitting on your bid. Like, it's in an envelope and it says like Sydney Palmer, and you're like, oh my god, this tells me what my sorority is gonna be, and I have to sit here for 5 minutes before we open it. They're talking, the people are talking for a little bit, and then your row chis will tell you what sorority they're in. Usually they're like wearing their color on bid day, or they'll just like tell you or something, and it's super fun, and then you get to find out. And then they're like, okay, let's everyone, we're gonna open our bids, and then they count down, and everyone, like, I remember I was like shaking like this because both of the houses I pref'd I really liked, but obviously like I loved Zeta and I knew that I wanted to go Zeta. You like, everyone is so excited, and you rip open your envelope, and I just remember I didn't even see my bid that said Zeta. I saw like the wristband that I give to my mom to like let her in the house. It had the crown on it, and I screamed so loud, and you can see it in my video that I posted on, like, you can see me like shaking, and I like had the camera down while I was opening it, and I saw the wristband and I screamed, and then I like opened the bid card, and oh my gosh, literally it's making me emotional right now because it was like the best day ever. It's so much fun.
1, 2, 3. Oh my god, I literally can't even open it.
And then they call out each sorority, like they'll call like, it's probably alphabetical. So like they'll be like, okay, everyone who is in like tried out, and everyone who's in tried out gets up and goes, and then they all run together, and like then everyone who is in like AOPI gets up and goes, or like, I don't know if it's alphabetical or not, I honestly can't remember, but they'll call out a sorority and everyone will run, and you'll go and run with your pledge class together. And then you go run, and when you're running to your house, oh my gosh, like everyone's family kind of like clears a path on the side, and you're running and everyone's like screaming and clapping for you and taking pictures, and it's so much fun. And then when you get to your house, at Zeta what they do is they have the crowns made, like the wooden crowns, and they have like your name on it. And I found Taylor, my big, was holding my crown, and it's like unreal when you see your name and they see, like when you see each other and you make eye contact, like you give them the biggest hug. And they give you like the bag and your jersey, you put your jersey on that has your letters, and it's so much fun. And gosh, I could talk about bid day for hours. I could honestly talk about it for so long because it's like the best day. And then after bid day's over, you go on your bid day retreat with your new sisters. It's a little awkward just because like you don't really know them yet, but I promise you like you're gonna get to know them. So that's all I'm gonna talk about for the rush process, and now I'm gonna answer some questions that people had for me. Okay, so the first question was, during rush, are the PNMs the one carrying on the conversation, or is it the sorority members? What do we talk about? So that's a really good question. Basically it's both of you guys. So I remember there was a couple houses where it was a little bit more awkward because I didn't really connect with the girl there, and I felt like I was asking more questions, but for the majority, you guys are kind of just like, she'll ask me a question and then I'll like answer it, and then I'll ask her one. It really depends on the day for like what questions you should ask. So for ice water teas, they usually ask you like your major, your hometown, like what'd you do over the summer, and then you can ask them pretty much the same thing, like, oh, like where are you from, and it's basically just like getting to know you questions. Philanthropy, you're gonna want to ask about their philanthropy. One really good question to ask is, what's your favorite event that you do for your philanthropy, because then they're gonna talk about all of the events and like which one's their favorite, and I loved hearing about all the events. That was probably my favorite round, is because I love the philanthropy round, or it's because I love the philanthropy videos, that's why it was my favorite round. Another good question to ask for philanthropy is like, do you feel like your sorority is very strong in their philanthropy, or like how connected do you think you feel with your sisters when you're working on your philanthropy? So for Sisterhood, obviously you're gonna want to talk about Sisterhood. My cat's pawing on my door, I need to let him in. So some questions you could ask for Sisterhood, yeah, like what are your favorite Sisterhood events? What Sisterhood events do you do? What's your favorite memory from last year with your sisters? Or just anything that really relates to the day are some really good questions to ask, because it shows them that you kind of care and you're actually interested in being there. So for pref, that's kind of a different story. It's really personal, so I can't really tell you exactly what to ask. It's kind of just, you really just need to ask them things you honestly need to know about their sorority before you join it. And they can be personal, they can be real questions, they don't have to be like from a book or whatever. So I'm sorry I can't really exactly tell you what to ask on preps because everyone is different. That's really all I have to say about questions. If you have any specific questions, you can either comment it below or you can just DM me on Instagram if you want content to be more private. My Instagram is Sydney Blair Palmer. Alright, moving on. So, how do you differentiate how dressy your outfits are for ice water tea, sisterhood, prep, etc.? That's a good question. Basically, I would just say it's kind of like levels. So it doesn't have to be like, this is the style of dress. It's just like, okay, this dress is like, my prep's dress is fancier than my sisterhood dress. My sisterhood dress is fancier than my ice water tea dress. So basically so ice water tea is like a sundress. Sisterhood is maybe like what you would wear to a spring wedding. I don't really know. I've never been to a wedding. I think that's what people said. So class of 2020, I'm sorry. I know you guys might not be having a graduation, but they told us that your prep's dress would be like something that you would wear to your graduation, like under your cap and gown. And then obviously your shoes get fancier. Like ice water teas, you're wearing sandals / like the platform shoes. Sisterhood, you can wear like platform shoes / wedges, and then your prep's shoes are going to be your nicest shoes, like heels or like chunky heels. So this person asked what the payment process is for dues, like if it's monthly or by semester. And so I don't know about every single sorority, but I know my sorority, you can do it by the semester, you can do it monthly, you can probably pay it all in full. What they do is they do this thing called Bill Highway, and you can set it up to either if you're paying it or if your parents are paying it. And they will send you like a reminder, I think it's like 10 days before they're due, and then like right before they're due, and you just pay it online. That's a good question to ask during the philanthropy round, is like what their dues are like, because I think they're going to talk about it in a PowerPoint about what dues are like. But I'm not exactly sure. And if you want to know like about your specific sorority after you join, you can always ask your treasurer. She would definitely know. They also have more information in the Greek sheet. I can pull it up right now because they have it online. So for first semester, like you're a new member, so your first semester is going to be more expensive than your other semesters. So it says right here that average dues for your first semester are going to be $4,100, and then like a really high, like the highest is $4,700. And then if you're living out of the house, which is what you'll be doing your second semester for freshman year, the average dues are $3,500, and a high dues would be $4,400. And if you're living in-house, the average dues are around $7,000, and because that includes like your room and then also like the rest of it, so like your meals and your chapter and fees and stuff like that. I don't know if you guys can see, but my cat is on my bed right now. And so what your meal plan will be, if you join a sorority, if you choose to join, your meal plan will be the Greek 55, and so you'll eat the majority of your meals at your house, and you'll have 55 meal swipes at all of the dining hall. So another question I got was, how did I know I wanted Zeta? And it's gonna sound really cheesy, but it's true. I just knew. Like, honestly, maybe even the first time I walked in, like the girls that I was talking to, I really just connected with all of them. And every single person, like I left and I was like, gosh, like I could really be friends with any of those people. And then it happened again the next round. And then it happened again the next round. And I was like, why do I like have this such a strong connection with all these people? And it wasn't ever boring, and we never ran out of anything to talk about, and we just were talking and talking and talking. And I just felt like I could belong there, and I felt like I could see myself there. And I was looking around, I was like, man, I really love this place, and I love all these girls, and they're all super nice and super cute. And you just know when you know, and it's kind of weird to say that, but you really just do. Another question is, why did I decide to rush? I don't really know. It's never been a huge question for me. I know that I'm not from the South, so I'm from like Indiana/Kentucky area, like around there. And Greek life isn't like huge here. People do like rush, but it's obviously not as big as it is in the South. Both my mom and my sister went/go currently to the University of Virginia, and they both are Greek there. Both my parents' siblings, like all of my family has been Greek, like my aunts and uncles were all Greek. Both my parents were. They never like forced me to do anything. Obviously I'm not being forced, but I don't know, my whole family kind of is. And so I never really questioned it. I never wanted to decide. I think it was just always something that I wanted to do just because I've heard of how awesome it is. And it's kind of just my personality type. I love like having lots of friends and all my sisters and stuff like that. So I never really decided. I think I just always knew that I wanted to. So another question is, what do I wish I knew before the process started? I kind of touched on this earlier, but really just that it's not as big of a deal as I thought it was, just kind of to relax and kind of just enjoy myself, I guess. I really, this is like kind of funny, but just like look at all the houses while you're in there, because that's kind of the only time you'll get to go back. I have a couple of friends in like other sororities and I've been in their houses, but just like look around when you can, because you don't really get to go back. But like seriously, on a real note, kind of just, I don't know, relax a little bit, because I was so like nervous to see all the people. I didn't really like, I don't know, take it all in, but it's really not as stressful as you think it's going to be. So people ask, how do we get letters and what if I don't know anyone? I touched on that earlier, but definitely reach out to your local alumni chapter if you have one, because they want to help you. Do I need a rush packet? Definitely not. If you don't know what a rush packet is, what I was talking about with like the resume and all the letters and stuff, if you're able to design it in Microsoft Word or whatever software you want to use, definitely do that, because it could save you some money. I just like couldn't do it and I was lazy, and so I wanted someone else to do it for me, but you definitely don't need one. It's not like required or anything, and don't worry about it if you don't have one. Someone asked me what it was like to go to college and like adjust from high school and like balancing sorority life, like the social aspects, and like also my academic life. So I'll start from the beginning. Adjusting from high school for me, it was a little weird at first. It wasn't necessarily difficult, I would say. It was just weird because I felt like I had so much, I don't know, not so much to do in high school, but I was always like doing something. Like, I would go to school I would go to school all day, then go to practice or pick up my brother or work or babysit or whatever, and then I would come home and do all my homework and then eat and go to bed. But in college, every single day is not the same. Like my classes are Monday and Wednesday are the same, Tuesday and Thursday are the same. I had like 7 classes a day in high school, and I didn't do like block scheduling, so that was different for me. And you just have a lot more free time in college, and you're really kind of responsible for yourself. And like obviously like my mom at high school didn't tell me to do my homework. I knew that I had to do my homework, but she would always be like, oh, like, did you do your stuff? And I'd be like, yes, Mom, I did it. But then now that I'm in college, I'm like, man, I wish my mom was here to make sure that I did all my stuff. But it's really not that bad, as long as I would recommend getting like a planner, or like maybe even printing out like pages or whatever if you don't want to buy one, and just writing everything down that you have to do, because it feels so good to cross it off your list. Is it hard to balance sororities with your socials and academics? It can be for some people. You just have to kind of control it. For me, I don't think it was, just because I'm very focused on my academics, and I always remember like that's why I'm going to college. I know that being in a sorority is awesome and fun, but like that's not why I went to college. So I always make sure I have all my stuff done. And my sorority actually provided us with tutoring, and they would pay for it, and I definitely took advantage of that a lot. And I got they were like grad students, I think, that would come in and help us learn stuff, and that was awesome. And they definitely wanted us to be our best self academically, and we always have like the academic banquet and stuff like that. They really want you to be your best self. They're not just gonna be like, you're studying, that's weird. Like they want you to be smart, they want you to work hard in school. So definitely like you're not gonna be isolated if you're like, sorry, like I need to do my homework, I can't go out right now. Like, don't worry about that. What's your favorite part about Alabama? That's tricky. Either sororities or maybe even game day. Game days are so much fun. I don't really know a lot about football, I'll admit that. I know more about basketball than I know about football, but I'm getting there. Even though I don't know much, it's super fun because you get to go to Bryant-Denny, and it's beautiful, and it's actually under renovation right now, so it's gonna be brand new next year, so we're super excited for that. But game days are so much fun. Another question, can you explain the social resume? Yes, I would love to. So your social resume is not like a resume you would use for work, because you can put on there like jobs you had in high school, but the majority of it is like your achievements, like your academic achievements, and if you had like community service, you would put that on there, and any Greek affiliations, you put that on there, like in your family. You put your GPA, you can put your scores from like standardized tests if you are. So you just want to put like all of your achievements on there. I think that's all the questions I have for now. If you guys do have any more questions that I missed or that I just generally like didn't answer, I'm really sorry. I'm gonna put my Instagram right here. Don't like be afraid to reach out to me or anything. I would love to talk to you guys about anything, even if it's not like sorority related. If you just want to talk about Bama or the honors college, because I am in the honors college. If you need any questions about that, I would love to talk to you about that as well, because I know that I didn't really have anyone to talk about that whenever I was an incoming freshman. So definitely reach out. I would love to help you with that. So that's all I have for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed, and I hope I answered everyone's questions. If you like this video, don't forget to like it and hit subscribe down below. I always hate this part because I never know what to say. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you later.